I'm a printing man.
In the heart of Seoul lies a small district packed with hundreds, maybe even thousands, of printing shops and businesses tied to the industry. You can hear it and even smell it. The scent of ink is surprisingly pleasant. This area is often referred to as the Inhyeon or Chungmuro Printing Alleys, and it's been here for decades. I've passed through many times for food, coffee or a drink, but never really stopped to look at what's going on behind the scenes. With the future creeping closer, I felt like I had to explore this place sooner rather than later. So I started with Mr. Lee, who runs his own printing factory here.
So guys, behind the dry seafood market, that's where all the paper printing businesses are. There's so many of them. It's going to be like a crazy area to explore. But also, I really have never been to the dry seafood market. I knew it was here, I just never been. Earlier I walked around and it's really cool, so I quickly want to show you that first before we dive into the paper business area. Let's check it out.
Before we meet the printing man, Mr. Lee, let me quickly show you the dry seafood market, called Seoul Jungbo Market, which has been around since the 1950s.
Definitely the most dry seafood I've ever seen in my life, and noguri is one of my favorite beer snacks. Seriously, the best.
Visually, it's quite a show to see all these dried fishies.
I thought it was just one big market, but even the dry seafood market is also divided in different sections. So one section here says Gulbi Golmok, and the other one was Mjolchi, and I bet over there's something else, and there's even the Mokja Kolmok. So this market has many different sections. Is she friendly? No touch, okay.
Before meeting Mr. Lee, let me quickly show you where we are. This is the area where most of the printing businesses are located. Although it's often referred to as the Chungmuro or Inhyeon printing alleys, it's actually a cluster of many smaller neighborhoods. Mr. Lee's factory sits right at the southern edge, and his story reflects the work ethic that many older Koreans carry with them today.
I am here with Mr. Lee,
Yes.
and he runs a printing shop in Pyeongdong.
Yes, Piltong. I was in Chungcheong province in 1950. I came to Seoul 1968. So I went to the printing factory. So I worked there. I worked 1 year and a half. I went to the military service. Do you know Vietnam War?
Yes, I know.
Do you know?
Yes.
So I went to Vietnam War.
You went to the Vietnam War?
Yes. After that, I came back to my factory again. I worked there. I poor man, so I save money a little. So I started my printing business. At that time, I was 33 years old. I was young. I worked many years. I made this building in 2000. I know only printing skills.
When you came to Seoul, why did you want to work in the printing industry?
At that time, so in Korea, is many people poor. We don't have job. My older brother introduced the factory. I'm a printing man, so I will enjoy printing until died.
Until died?
Yes.
By the way, guys, this is Justin. He is working with us. He actually usually teaches English to Mr. Lee, so they know each other really well.
Later, Justin, who introduced me to Mr. Lee, will show us the cinema and theater scene in this area, something that's been closely tied to the printing industry. But first, let's take a quick look inside Mr. Lee's factory.
This is our printing method.
That is really cool.
Like this number, like this card.
Here we go, guys, into the factory. This looks very expensive.
It's very expensive. Yes.
How much is the whole machine?
So,
Over $10 million, all right.
I was expecting machines of a decent size, but not like this. These things are huge, constantly printing labels, pamphlets, posters and more. It's a complex process, with workers continuously monitoring everything, checking both the input and the output.
this machine is inspector. This machine from Netherlands, your country.
From my country?
Yeah, your country.
That's awesome. Is it a good machine? Very good. All right.
Today, Mr. Lee runs multiple machines and employs over 30 people. But when he started, he was on his own, working with an older, much simpler system. From there, he slowly built everything up.
Black color, red color,
Red.
it's different.
Couldn't get more industrial than this now, guys. You have a nice business, Mr. Lee.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'm very impressed that you started as a Jikwan long time ago.
Yes.
And you built this printing empire.
Yes. At that time, so I was poor. I don't have money, so I bought machine. It is one color. So one color printer. So if I print 4 color, so one color printer machine print 4 times again.
Outside Mr. Lee's factory, I noticed the old Jinyoung Plaza building, right in the middle of the printing district. All I could think about was the view from the roof, so I went for it, making my way through a flower market I didn't even know existed inside, up to the very top. And I'm so glad I did. This looks old, guys. This looks very old. Look at this.
Alright guys, new rooftop unlocked. Don't try this at home. This is what we want. I can see the whole area, the whole printing district here right below me. We're pretty high. Bukhansan in the distance. I can see Changsindong. Lots of good stuff here. Lots of good stuff here. This might be the best rooftop I've ever been. You can hear the printing machines. You can hear the trucks and motorbikes. It's all part of the printing district. All of this. There is just something about rooftops. There is just something about rooftops.
이순신 birthday party.
Why do they celebrate his birthday here?
So this area is his birthday.
He was born in this area?
Yes, this area.
Lee Shun-shin.
Yes, sir.
How random. Our Navy man was born in Seoul.
충무공 이순신 birthplace.
The history of this area goes all the way back to the Joseon dynasty, when the government's typecasting foundry and publication office were located right here. By the late Joseon period, printing started to modernize, and during the Japanese colonial period, this area was already filling up with printing houses. After the Korean War, things slowed down for a moment, but then something unexpected happened. Right around Inhyeon and Chungmuro, Seoul's movie scene started to take off. Cinemas popped up everywhere, and suddenly, printers weren't just printing books anymore. They were printing movie posters, tickets, even scripts. Theaters became their biggest clients, and just like that, the printing industry was going through a big boom.
So this is actually the Myeongbo Art Hall, first built in 1957. And it was a theater, a single screen theater. In the late 50s to early 60s, this place boomed. This was the mecca for Korean cinema. As you can see now that they've converted this to the Myeongbo Art Hall, that happened in like 2008. I believe it finally wrapped up as a cinema. The rent here was so cheap. So a lot of production companies ended up opening up here. At its peak, there were 70 film production companies operating just out of this area.
70, wow.
So it was essentially very bohemian because you had the arts mixing with the industry.
Yes.
So they had a lot of the cinema posters printed here. About a block away, we'll walk down it, I think later, was a film street.
Yeah.
So today they still actually will develop film from camera. This is the remnants of the kind of camera street. And you'll see where they have the different rolls of film here. They're actually advertising it now. Like, when's the last time you saw a roll of film advertised on a poster before?
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, so it's interesting how Gen Z, the younger generation, are going back to those old ways. You could come here in the late 50s, early 60s and probably see famous actors walking around all the time. They have a term for it. So they will call things like Chungmuro actor, Chungmuro cinema, and it is essentially like calling someone like a Hollywood actor. So this is a very prolific actor. His name is Shin Young-kyun. So his most famous films started in '61, or around the big boom. He's still alive today. He has been in over, I think, 300 films.
What?
And he took over this cinema in the late 70s. So it was first actually built by a displaced man who was born in what is now North Korea.
Yeah.
After the Korean War, he settled in Korea, built this cinema in 1957, and then this actor took over in the 70s until it finished in 2008. Now, what he did was, he donated this building and this area to the foundation. And so the hands that you see over here is actually part of what's called the Beautiful Artist Award. Every autumn, they give awards away for actors, directors, producers that are influencing cinema like on the indie scene. And so they honor them here with their hands, and you can come take a look.
This guy is the coolest dog in the city. Look where he stands, here on the rooftop. He has his little house over there. He looks healthy, he looks friendly, but if you get close, he starts barking. So don't do that, but check this out. So funny.
Another boom came in the 1980s. Redevelopment across the city pushed many printing businesses into Inhyeon, concentrating the industry even more. Then came a series of major moments: the 1986 Asian Games, the 1988 Summer Olympics, and even the democratization movement. From official materials to anti-government leaflets, demand for printing exploded until the 1997 financial crisis hit.
So how many printing companies are there in this area?
2,000 or 3,000.
2 to 3,000?
Yes, yes.
That's a lot.
Yes, sir.
All printing?
All printing. Printing and processing and post-processing.
So what do you usually eat for lunch?
I eat lunch with my staff and with my clients every day.
Do you have a favorite restaurant?
I think all similar.
All similar?
Yes, yes, all similar.
All right.
Also, cool noodle, naengmyeon.
Naengmyeon.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised by Mr. Lee's answer. Usually you would expect something like, yeah, this is my all-time favorite restaurant, but I figured that with thousands of workers in this area, there must be so many good places that it's hard to choose. Turns out it's even more than I expected. This isn't just an industrial district, it's a paradise for foodies. You've got two famous naengmyeon spots on Cold Noodle Street, Inhyeon Market packed with restaurants, and then I stumbled onto an entire LA Galbi Street. And it just keeps going. Many machibs waiting in the nooks and crannies to be discovered.
This place is the first printing business place.
Yours?
Yes.
This one here?
Yes, sir.
And we're back now.
Yes, sir. Okay.
How does it feel to be back?
So I think here 2 years. 2 years I worked here. Start the printing business here.
Oh, you start your business here?
Yes, yes. Sir.
Can I have a look inside?
No, okay. No.
But this was the building, right, Mr.
Yes,
Lee?
yes, this
Where you
building,
had
yes,
one machine?
What is your best memory
Best memory?
of the last 60 years?
All memory, but first place is very good. Yes, sir.
Good memory?
Yes, good memory. But we worked all the daytime, nighttime worked. So we make like this country. Okay. So 1 month we day off only first Sunday and third Sunday. 2 days only 1 month.
I never realized, guys, that this area has so many 골목, so many alleys like this.
And now I want to point out the alleyways. As you can see in this photo from the book Print Alley in Inhyeon, they are everywhere. Narrow, some wider, some wiggly, others straight, some dark, some filled with light. But somehow all these business owners have made it work. It never really occurred to me before, but now I see how all those customized vehicles, bicycles, motorcycles, small trucks, have been adapted to squeeze through these alleys. I can talk about Korea's golmok, alleyways, for hours. It feels unique to Korea, but this is where so much is going on. There's a strong ecosystem, and many of these businesses depend on each other's specialty.
It just made this ecosystem that made it easier for everybody to work together. And I think that has happened in cities like across the world, like this bohemian, artist type working side by side with the industrial type in the areas where it's affordable to live. And then that's what happens. It starts to get popular. It starts to get bougie.
Yes.
And then people buy up spaces and things like that. I think that's just a tale as old as time.
Inevitable. It just happens.
Yes,
It's like this unstoppable force that's going through these neighborhoods. And you see that near Euljiro Samga, that's where all the popular stuff is now.
It is.
And it slowly it expands. I don't really see it here yet. Not yet.
Gentrification is happening, mostly in the northwestern corner. Lots of new places open up, and with them, the younger generations have discovered the printing district. Now, new trends must go hand in hand with printing businesses. It's part of Hipjiro now. It gives an interesting contrast, and to me, it shows there's an increasing interest in these older industrial areas from the younger generation. Especially now they're disappearing. One place that stands out is Oldie's Taco, a retro-style taco bar, really popular and of course, very good tacos. And I met with the big boss.
Welcome to my dome. 혹시 소개 부탁드립니다.
예, 안녕하세요. 저는 오디스 타코를 운영하고 있는 김한근입니다.
언제 시작하셨어요?
이제 3년 됐어요.
근데 지금 손님 많이 와요.
네, 맞아요.
계속 여기 지나갈 때 항상 그냥 사람이 많고 지금 진짜 LG 랜드마크 됐어요. 네, 모습도 좋고. 근데 원래 옛날 모습 레트로 빈티지 다 좋아하셨어요? 네?
저는 그런 거를 너무 옛날부터 좋아하다 보니까
네.
새로운 거보다는 오래된 걸 좋아하게 되는 것 같아요.
이 사장님 포니 있어요. 근데 지금 아파서
아파요. 많이.
네네네. 너무 이 동네 매력이 어떻게 생각해요?
여기는
네.
제가 좋아하는 이유가 일단은 아직까지는 그런 아날로그적인 감성이 좀 공존해 있는 듯한 느낌이 들고
네.
밤 되면 또 분위기가 달라요. 밤 되면은 인쇄하시는 분들이 공장에서 나오는 그 인쇄 소리가
네.
그 밤에는 그 소리가 여기 길거리에 많이 메워지고
네.
낮에는 또 젊은 사람들도 많이 오면서 다이어리 그리고 지금 뭐 아크릴
그래요. 네.
그런 것들이 낮에는 엄청 활발하게 되고
네네네.
그 을지로에 오면은 아마 보셨을지를 모르는데 옛날 그 붓으로 그린 간판 사인
LG
네.
저기 알아요. 네.
그거를 저는 유지하고 싶어서
네.
직접 이거를 다 그리게 됐어요.
오.
원래는 뭐 시트지로 붙여도 사실 편한데 그 을지로의 그런 감성을 유지를 시키고 싶어서 직접 저를 쓰게 됐어요.
오.
보시면은 전데도 다
그 타코
네,
스프
맞아요.
스링
네.
사장님 센스 많아요.
네.
진짜로.
돈이 없어서 제가 하겠습니다.
아니 돈이 없었을 때 센스 제일 많아요.
맞아요.
저도 돈 없었을 때 이 농시에서 시작했어요.
맞아요.
그때는. This is so good. 인쇄 공장 없으면 아마 아쉬울 것 같아요. 네.
맞아요.
네.
Alright, I can easily add the printing alleys to my favorite list of neighborhoods. Nothing can beat a good old bohemian city industrial district. Even though many printing businesses moved out to Seongsu, Paju, the neighborhood still goes strong.
I didn't want to live here. I like this Inhyeon area and Piltong area.
And there's enough to do, see, and feel for the younger crowds. You can take a screenshot of this map to give you an idea where everything is, but if you ask me, just get lost anywhere within the border of the yellow rectangular. I always knew and loved this area, but now I know and love it just a little bit more. And that's thanks to Mr. Lee, Justin, and all these taco 사장님. Make sure to check out their socials. Oh, almost forgot to tell you, there's also the new Seoul Film Center. Pretty cool. For now, this area goes on the map as Seoul's printing stronghold. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next neighborhood. How do?
How do?
How do?
How do?
좋네요.